はい、皆さん、こんにちは。今日は飲食物調理について学びましょう。はい、飲食物調理は Food and Drink Preparation. So here is a few introduction before going on to the main point. 飲食店でお客様に安心して美味しい食事を堪能していただくために、店長をはじめとする従業員は衛生的で安全な調理環境の整備、適正な食材の取り扱い、および調理作業を行う必要があります。So the fundamental goal is for customer to enjoy the delicious food with a peace of mind at the food establishment. So responsibility lie at all staff, including the manager. They must ensure a hygienic and a safe cooking environment, handle food ingredients appropriately, and perform cooking tasks properly. 具体的には仕入れをする食の受け入れ、保管、調理の先を手順の確認、調理場内などの安全管理です。So, especially this include receipt and storing the ingredient used, confirming or checking the cooking work procedure, the safety management within the kitchen area and related plates. So, このテキストでは、飲食店の調理知識のほか、その知識の活かして、状況に応じた適切な判断や従業員への指導を行うために必要な知識点などを紹介します。So this textbook will introduce the knowledge about food and drink preparation and how to show and teach an employee so to deal with the different situation. The first one we will learn about 食材、原材料に関する注意点。The point of caution regarding the ingredient. I mean, here is raw materials. 日本の食品の種類は、日本食品標準成分表2020年時点に記載されているものだけでも、加工品を含め2478品もあります。野菜、魚介類、海藻類などの海産物も世界で稀に見る藻類の豊富さを誇ります。So even just the type of Japanese food leads in the standard tables of food composition in Japan in 2020, including processed goods, amount to 2000, amount to amount to 2,478 items. So Japan boasts an abundance of variety of vegetable, seafood, and seaweed that is rare to see globally. So in order to know how diverse is the Japanese food, we will come to know the type of meat. So 一番目は肉類について about meat. We will learn about 肉類の主な種類 the main types of meat. So do you know how many main type of meat? So do you know how many main type of meat in Japan? The answer is 3. 牛肉、豚肉 and 鶏肉. So the first one we'll learn 牛肉の分類の名称は社団法人日本食肉学漬け協会が定めた余部分肉取引規格で定められています。きめの細かい柔らく濃厚な味まで分類は分類ごとに特徴が明確です。さっぱりとして味まで分類は分類ごとに特徴が明確です。So beef, the cut names are set by the Japanese Meat Grading Association. Characteristic and unique to each cut, ranging from tender to rich flavor. Okay, about 豚肉。豚肉の分類の名称は牛肉と同じですね。定めた分肉取引価格、定められています。分肉は肉として復活された月齢が牛肉より若く、脂肪分の多いから肉を除く。肉質は比較的均一です。どの部分を選んでも臭みのないジュースな味です。So about pork, the cut names are also set by the same association. The quality is relatively uniform, except for fatty cuts, and always offer a juicy taste without odor. So the last one is 鶏肉。鶏肉の分類の名称は農林水産省が定めた測定小売規格により定められています。本来の旨味と濃く、適切な歯ごたえを持つ、緑や淡白な味わいで柔らい、黒いライなどがあります。So chicken, the cut names are set by the MAFF standards. The types vary and including flavory, texture, didori, local chicken, and tender broiler chicken. Okay, so we have already learned about three types of meat. So, in order to storage and cooking, what is the caution point of that? We will learn about 牛肉、豚肉、鶏肉の保存や調理における注意点。肉は死後硬直が緩やかで、硬直後は実性なんかを経食べごとになるまで数日かかります。肉の各分離は調理によって使い分ける必要があります。So the first one is about storage and aging. So before being steeped, the rigor mortis. The meat needs several days to age and soften before cooking. The different cuts need different cooking methods. So the next one is about cooking. 肉を加熱すると、肉の水成分であるタンパク質の変性により、縮んで肉汁が流れ硬くなります。So about cooking in general, the heating meat causes protein to change and making the meat swing, lose juice and become tough. 肉は高くなるのを防ぐために、筋をあらかじめ切っておく。肉いただきでたく。層が汁など肉を柔らくする動きがあるものにつけておくなどの方法があります。So tenderizing. To prevent toughness, you can cut the sinews, pound the meat or marinate it. For example, with jingo juices. 肉の旨味を逃さないために、調熱時間と温度の調節が重要です。一般的には、はじめに強火、中火で加熱し、表面を凝固され、その後、弱火が中火で火を通して、So, in order to retaining the flavor, the umami flavor, we sear the surface first with high heat, or to lock in juice and then cooking slowly on low or medium heat. This one is a very important sentence, so you must remember this. はじめに強火、その後弱火。いいですか？結着肉などの成分肉の成形肉は防水するために肉の内部までしっかり火を通します。So about the safety for the form of meat, we restructure or form the meat must be cooked completely to the center to prevent food poisoning. So we have a note here at the bottom. The meat shrinks around 60 degrees Celsius. So 60度付近で熱溶鉱が起こり、肉が収縮して小さくなります。So we do not pass this 60 degrees Celsius. So if we pass the temperature, the protein will change, the body loss and impact on the quality, and also relevance to cooking. So remember, do not pass it degrees Celsius. So next one, we will learn how to determine the meat freshness. 肉の鮮度の見分け方。So first one is 牛肉。鮮やかな赤い色で赤身と脂の境目がはっかりしているものが良い。So the beef should be bright red. The boundary between the red meat and the white fat must be clear. What about 豚肉？豚肉。ツヤのある淡いピンク色で脂身は白いものが良い。So the pork should be pale plain color with the sheen and the fat should be white. So this is a good meat. 鶏肉。透明感のあるピンク色で、皮の毛穴に凹凸があるものが良い。The chicken should be translucent pink. The skin pore should be clear bump or visible. Okay, that's how we determine the meat fresh. And we have a few things to remember more. 以上のほか、すべての肉類に共通した鮮度の見分け方は以下の通りです。嫌な匂いがしない。No unpleasant odor or smell. 液汁が出ていない。No drip like liquid or juice leaking out. 弾力がある。It has a firmness. The last one is ぬるぬるしていない。It's not slimy. Okay, so it all the thing we need to remember about how to determine the meat. Next one we will know the point of caution for meat storage. 肉の保存の注意点。調理に使用する直前まで冷蔵庫の食肉空分で保存する。 So store the meat in the meat section of the fridge until immediately before cooking. また、冷凍した火入するときは、下処理の容器に移し、即肉、魚介類などの交換区分の冷蔵庫内で乾満解凍です。For frozen meat, transfer it to the preparation container and thaw it slowly in the bridge meat or seafood storage section. Okay, something you notice here is 解凍する際、ドリップが落ちるなどして他の食材が汚染しないようトイレで受けるなどの工夫をする。So the note for falling safety here is use a tray to catch any drip during the thawing to prevent the contamination of other food or containers. So it's also the end of the meat. The next one we will learn about the seafood. 魚介類について。魚介類とか魚、貝類、エビ、カニを中心として食用水産生物の総称です。旨味込まれた日本では古来多くの魚を取って食べてきました。So the definition and the history of feed is the seafood is a general term for aquatic life like fish, shellfish, shrimp, and carp. Historically, in the island nation, Japan have caught and eaten many types of fish. So 魚介類には旬があります。So the seafood also have peak seasons. 魚介類の旬とは脂肪の多い脂の乗った時期であり、その魚介類は一番美味しく食べられる時期を指します。So the nationality or the soon is the peak season means the time when the fish is fattest, 脂の乗った。And it's the most delicious time to eat it. 魚は魚介類用の包丁で、鱗、ヒレ、骨、後骨を丁寧に取り除く。料理の用途に合わせて切り分けます。So handling and preparation, the fish must be carefully scaled, deveined, and have bones removing using a dedicated fish knife, and then cutting according to the dish. And the next one is cooking method. 魚が焼く、煮る、揚げるなどの調理をするとき、タンパク質は熱で固まる性質を利用し、最初に中火で表面を焼く。旨味を逃がさないようにしてから弱火で中までじっくり加熱します。So when cooking, fish sear the surface on the high or medium meat to use the protein hardening property and prevent the umami loss. Then cooking slowly on a low heat. So the first one is 強火 and the next one is 弱火. It's the same to the meat. Okay, the freshness of fish is 新鮮な魚は刺身やたらきなど生息が可能です。So the very fresh fish can be eaten raw as sashimi or ただき。魚の臭みを取るために流水でよく洗い、切り身魚の場合はネギや生姜などの香味野菜や酒、味噌、醤油などの調味料を用いて加熱調理します。To remove fishy odor, rinse well with running water. For fillets, cook it with aromatic vegetable like scallions or jingo, or seasonings like miso or soyu. So how to determine the feed freshness? 魚の鮮度の見分け。The first one is 目が澄んでる。落ち込んでいないもの。The eyes are clear and not sunken. 目が鮮やか赤色であるもの。Here's a bright red color. The next one is 腹の弾力があるもの。The belly is firmness. 体が高く、色艶のあるもの。The body is firm and has seen. 生臭さ、アモニア臭のしないもの。No raw smellfish or aromatic smell. 鱗がきれいにつけているもの。Scales are cleanly attached. 切り身を選ぶ場合は、身の弾力がある、艶のあるもの。切り口が鮮やかなもの。For fillets, the flesh should be thin and luster. The cut surface should be bright. In order to store the fish, we have to remember a few things. 魚の保存について。魚介類が肉類に比べて劣化が早い。小さな魚ほど早く傷みます。最も早く傷むのが貝類です。冷蔵庫に保存するときは貝類が小魚は温度変化の少ないところに保存します。The seafood deteriorates faster than meat, and the smaller fish spoil more quickly. The shellfish spoil the fattest and store it with a minimum temperature range. They deteriorate meat slower than seafood. And in seafood, we have big fish slower than small fish and slower than shellfish. So we must remember this one. Okay, so some special safety note. フールは毒を持っているもので、So this fugu fish is poisonous. 同風検事事などが認めた専門のプール、修理者が修理する必要があります。So it must be handled by the specialized fugu prepper certified by the prefectural government. The poison part of fugu is mainly in liver, ovary, skin, and intestine. The toxicity varies by species and season. Here is procedure. Surfeit must remove and specially dispose of all poisoned organs using a special tools. So that is how to procedure the fugu. The next one we will learn how to plate fish. 魚の盛り付け方。姿盛り。頭を左、腹を下に盛り付けます。付け合わせは、和食の場合は手前に置きます。So for the whole fish plating, we plate with the head, tail, and belly facing down. Accompaniments are placed in front of the Japanese cuisine. 切り身魚。身が手前、皮目が奥になるように盛り付けます。付け合わせは洋食の場合に奥に置きます。So the fillet plating, we plate with the flesh slice facing the front up and the skin side facing the back. And all complements are placed in the back for Western cuisine. So that's how to plate fish. We have some example of how to fillet fish. 魚をお白かった。So there are two types. 三枚お白。It means 3 pieces fillet. 頭を落とし、骨と身を左右上下、左右に分け、3分割します。So remove the head and divide the bones and flesh into 3 parts, left and right. 三枚おろし and the 五枚おろし。頭を落とし、骨に沿って左右上下5分割します。ヒラメなど。Okay, so 5-piece fillet. We remove the head, divide the flesh along the bone with 5 parts. Left, right, top, bottom. And for example, it's a hirame, flatfish. So this question often appears in the exam, so remember this. A very example of the gomai oroshi is hirame. Okay, the next one, we already learned about the meat and the seafood, and now we learn the vegetable and fruit. 野菜と果実類などについて。日本の市場で流通する野菜の数は150種類ほどと言われています。その種類は、芋類、豆類、根菜類、茎菜類、葉菜類、火菜類などの対応です。The number of vegetable dispute in Japan's market is about 150 varieties, and these types are diverse, including tuber, beans, root, leafy, and fruit vegetables. So, 多くの野菜は一年中店頭に並んでいますが、その時期のものが味が良く、栄養価も高くなっています。So, vegetables in season have better flavor and higher nutrition value. 野菜類は一般的に分数が80から90%など前後と多く、タンパク質、脂質、炭水化物が少ないんです。野菜の種類な成分はカリウム、リン、カルシアム、鉄などの無機質、ビタミン A、カロテン、ビタミン C、食物繊維です。 So the vegetable generally contain about 80% to 90% water and are low in proteins, fat, and carbohydrates. So the important components are minerals like potassium, phosphorus, calcium, and iron, vitamins A and vitamin C, and dietary fiber. 野菜は生で食べるとビタミンなどの損失が少ないんです。かさばるために一度に多くは食べられません。茹でる、炒める、蒸すなど加熱調理すると柔らかくなってかさも減る。多く食べることができます。When eaten raw, there's loss of vitamins. There is less loss of vitamins, but the vegetable are bulky. And when cooked, we boil or stir fry, etc. They soften and reduce in bulk so you can eat more. ほうれん草などのオーナーを茹でるときは、緑色の火の色素が熱に弱いので、たっぷりのお湯で蓋をせずに、さっと茹で、水にとって刺します。So when boiling green leafy vegetable like spinach, the green pigment is sensitive to heat, so blanch them in the plenty of water without lid, then cool them in cold water. ごぼうやレンコンが切った後、すぐに水につけると、口の活弁をぶげすことができます。So after cutting brock or lotus root, immediately soaking them in water so can prevent the browning after the cut. 生の野菜はしばらく置いておくと水分が出てしんなります。If raw leaf water are let out, they will lose moisture and weight. Okay, so that's like general knowledge about the vegetable and fruits. Next one, we'll learn about how to determine the water freshness. 野菜の鮮度の見分け方。This one is tomato. トマトは皮に針があり、光沢の良いもの。ヘタが元気なもの。Tomato should have firm skin and good luster. The stem should be look likely. Next one is ほうれん草。ほうれん草。葉が厚く、針があり、緑色が鮮やかで、みずみずしいもの。Spinach should be thick and firmly a bright green and fresh. 玉ねぎ、よく乾燥していて、表面が透き通ったような茶色の皮のものが良い。肉質がしっかりしたものを選ぶ。芽が出ているものが鮮度の味が落ちる。Okay. The onion should be well dry with transparent and brown skin. 茶色. Choose one with fresh. Choose the one with firm fresh. And one has this brown lost redness and flavor. Okay, what about 大根? 大根。葉がしっかりしていて、みずみずしいものが良い。So the 大根 should have firm and fresh leaf. Next one is きゅうり。針や矢のあるものが人生、岩がチクチクするほど鮮度が高い。Cucumber. One with firmness and luster are fresh. And the higher the freshness, the pickle the spin feel. キャベツ。重みがあり、外葉がみずみずしいもの。Cabbage should be great and fresh to outer leaves. Okay. 人参。色が鮮やかで表面がなららかない、あんまり大きくないもの。Carrot should be bright color and smooth surface and not be too large. So we already learned about how to determine the freshness of the vegetable. Next one, we will learn about how to storage. 野菜の保存について。Okay. ネギ、玉ねぎ、ニンニクなどの冷暗層での騒音保存が適するものを除く。水分の蒸散を抑えるため、ラップなどに包み、冷蔵庫で保存します。So excluding items like scallions, onions, and garlic, which are suitable for room temperature, store in a cold dark place. Vegetables should be wrapped and stored in the refrigerator to suppress moisture evaporation. 根や葉をつけておくと、実の質が落ちるため、切り離しで保存します。 So also before leaving the roots and leaf attack degrades the polyp body, they should be cut off and stored separately. So this one will prevent water loss and nutrient drains from the edible part of the water of the vegetable. So that's also the end of the vegetable and the fruit. The next one we learn about kokusan sokuzai ni tsuite, about the domestic ingredients of Japan. So there are two things to learn. So the first one is about wanyu, and the next one will be the dento na yasai. So wanyu は黒毛和牛、赤毛和牛、日本短活種、無角和牛の4品種と、それられの香出し種のことを指します。So, Wagyu refers to four breeds: Japanese black, Japanese brown, Japanese Dortmund, and Japanese Paul, and their crossbreed. So, now we'll learn deeper in about four types of Wagyu. The very first one is 黒毛和牛。在来牛にブラワンスイス類などを交配し、改良が進められて品種、毛色は高活炭素和牛全体の 95% 以上を占め、肉質が特に脂肪交雑、いわゆるサシの面で優れる。So a brief improved by crossbreeding by crossbreeding native cattle with a brown, rich, and other breed. The coat color is solid black, and it accounts for the 95% of all Wagyu, and it's excellent to meat quality, especially in terms of marbling, known as sash. The next one will be Akage Washu. 熊本県と高知県で飼われている女性主を基本とした在来牛に診断たる種などを交配して改良が進められた品種。軽量はを獲得。週産県は熊本県及び高知県。So, Akagwagyuは a brief improved based on native cattle kept in Kumamoto and Kochi prefecture, crossbred with the Simmental and other foreign breeds. And the coat color is yellowish brown. And the main producing prefecture are Kumamoto and Kochi. So the next one is about 日本短角種。東北地方北部で飼われていた南部牛にショットボン種を交配して改良が進められた品種。毛色が濃褐色。集産県は岩手県。So, 日本短角種は a breed improved by crossbreeding southern cattle kept in the northern Tohoku region with southern horned cattle. And the coat color is dark brown, and the main producing prefecture is Iwate. The last one is 無角和種。栽培牛にアバティンアンガス種を改良が進められた品種です。毛色は黒色で黒毛和種より黒みが強い。集産県は山口県。So, 無角和種は a breed improved by crossbreeding native with the Anbadine Angus breed. The coat color is darker than the Japanese breed, and the main producing prefecture is Yamaguchi. Okay, the second of the 国産食材は主な伝統野菜です。Major traditional vegetable.在来野菜。そう、日本に供給する野菜は、近代になってから外国から輸入されたものや、品種改良によって食べやすくなってもの、食べやすくなったものなどがありますが、昔から日本で作り続けている伝統野菜、在来野菜も昔の仕方が形のまま栽培が続けています。So, although the Japanese distribute and Japanese include those import from foreign worker in modern times and those make easier to eat through breed improvement, traditional vegetables, 在来野菜, which have been continuously grown in Japan since the ancient times and are being cultivated in their original appearance and form. So here is some example of the traditional vegetable. ナス eggplant, ズキ butterball, negi, scallion, necky roots, Udo, daikon mean radish. Na mean leafy greens. Kyori mean cucumber. Kabocha mean pumpkin. Kabu mean cumin. And sungiki mean edible chrysanthemum. Imo mean potato. Mame mean beans. So here are some example of the 伝統的な野菜. Here's some 注意点 about 伝統的な野菜の例。どの野菜が昔から栽培されている地域の名称をつける、販売されています。So these vegetables are sold under the name of region where they have been cultivated in the ancient times. So 伝統野菜は地域の食文化に重要な役割を果たしています。So traditional vegetable plays an important role in the local food culture. Is something to notice here is selling the vegetables with the region name, like Kyo Yasai, Kawa Yasai is a form of regional branding name or geographical indication. This guarantees special quality and allows the local farmer to sell the product at a higher value due to regional reputation. So that's the merit. So that is the advantage of sold under the name of region. And the next one we will learn about 下処理に関する注意点. The point of caution regarding preparation. 下処理の目的 purpose of pre-processing. 調理の前にあらかじめ食材に行う加工処理です。洗浄、アクを抜く、切れ目を入れ、乾物を戻すなどがあります。下処理状態が悪いとよりそのものの味や食感が悪くなります。So this is processing performed on ingredients before cooking. Example include washing, moving the bitterness, skew, making cuts, rehydrating, dries. Ingredients pre-processing result in bad flavor and texture in final dish. また、調理する前に食材には食中毒や腐敗にかかる微生物も付着しています。そのため、それらの微生物を下処理中に増やさないことと、手指や調理器具、作業体を介して加熱調理済み食品や薬品済みの食品に二次汚染されないことが重要になります。Furthermore, uncooked ingredients have microbes that cause food poisoning or spoilage. Therefore, it's important to not let these microbes multiply before pre-processing and to prevent contamination, secondary contamination, by the way, or cook or sterilize food via hand utilize and workstation. Okay, so the last one we'll learn about 野菜の下処理について about vegetable pre-processing. 調理の前にあらかじめ食材に行う加工処理です。So we have 4 steps to follow this one. 洗浄 means washing. 水にさらす soaking in water. 水見につける soaking in vinegar water. And the last one is 塩で揉む rub with salt. 洗浄について汚れの少ないものから1枚ずつ水につけて洗います。最後に流水で洗います。So waterless dirty items, one leaf at a time in water. Finish by rinsing with running water. 刃物が根元を広げるようにして刃が傷つかないように丁寧に洗います。So gentle wash leaf items like by spreading the roots, making sure not to damage the leaf. 泥のついたものはたわしてよく洗って汚を通し最後に流水で洗います。So for muddy items, scrub well with a brush to remove the mud and rinse under running water. Okay, soak in water. じゃがいもの、さつまいものなどの芋類は、ナスは冷水につけてアク抜きをしています。So soft tubers like potatoes, sweet potatoes and eggplants in cold water to remove the skin. 酢水につける soak in vinegar water. レンコンやヨボは酢水に入れると白くなります。So lotus root and rocket roots are soaked in vinegar water so they turn white to prevent browning. The last one is 塩で揉む rubbing with salt. きゅうりや乾物は塩で揉むと浸透圧の差で野菜から水分が出てしんなります。So rubbing cucumber or cabbage with salt use osmosis to extract water, making them white or soften. So that all about the vegetable proof. So that is all about the vegetable pre-processing. And it's also the end of the lesson today. So thank you for watching.